Aguero! Special beyond special!
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel! Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 18. We will be talking about a bunch of stuff this week, a little different from a normal pod, but we'll start with Chelsea beating up on Spurs 4-3. We're then going to segue over to America, and we'll talk about our LA Galaxy winning an MLS Cup championship. Then we will touch on Arsenal a little bit and how they dropped points again this week. And then finally, we'll talk about me and Mila's very poopy clubs before wrapping up with a little derby talk. Because it doesn't matter the form, that's the biggest game of the week. It always is. But let's start with a team that's actually performing well and switch over into Chelsea.
You're going to bring a tear to my eye with that transition, Dylan. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. I was very confident going into this game, as you guys know. They did come out with that starting center back pairing, though. I mean, they looked fully fit. No, not obviously throughout the game, but in terms of seeing the lineup come out, it's like, oh, this is their cup final, as it always is. But, you know, they didn't want to get embarrassed like they did last year. Understandable. And I wouldn't say in the hot seat, but there's definitely pressure mounting. So let's get these guys back. Let's get them fit, whether that's the medical team's call, whether that's his call. Someone push those dudes to start that game. Cucurella slips twice. 2 goals. I mean, like, you couldn't fucking write it. The first one, I was just like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. The second one, I was very frustrated. That happening twice is absurd, especially Cucurella. He's been so good for a while now. And to be fair to him, as soon as he switched his boots, sound from him the rest of the game, no worries there. But I still genuinely was not worried at any point that I was like, oh, this game's lost. Like, I still was confident in winning that game. And I think from, honestly, right up and before Sancho's goal to us getting the fourth, I thought we dominated the game. I thought a lot of their chances came from mistakes from us. And to be fair, you can use that argument the other way. They gave us 2 really stupid penalties. But I just think throughout that game, especially the switch at halftime, which I was a little bit shocked by, but tactical adjustment, get Badiashile on the left, get him way more comfortable and build up, because he was the trigger that whole first half. And so again, he's left-footed center back, not comfortable out there. So we switched it, really controlled the game, and I just think chance after chance, just creating, and it was a matter of time. And man, it just you can't write it up, man. I'm almost glad they got a little lead to make them think like, oh, we might have this, and then just absolutely stomped them. It was beautiful. But again, kind of to the whole title talk, you know, now we're only 4 points off Liverpool. People are really starting to push that. I just think, again, if Liverpool play and probably take care of Everton, no one's going to really push it any harder. But, you know, now we're only 4 points off them, even though they didn't play. I thought Colwell had a good quote after the game where he pretty much said, like, those top teams don't go down 2-0 with 2 slips. I mean, I don't blame Cucurella. I'm not upset at him for that. Like, it's not his fault, if you want to use that word, but those are mistakes that the top teams do not make. Thankfully, it's Tottenham, so you can get away with it. If you do that at Anfield, the game's over. The game's completely over if you make 2 mistakes like that. Sancho, making you eat your words, Dylan. I love this game. Showed some teeth. That was definitely his best performance in the shirt. Just driving at his defender, cutting in, ripping that shot, bottom corner. Again, we even talked about it. It seemed kind of tentative when it comes to the shooting boots. Set up, build up, link up play. Everything was cool, but that real kind of bite in his game, and you saw it throughout. I don't even think he needed the goal to really say that was a great performance, but obviously the goal was huge to get it right after conceding, to kind of let us know, like, we're in this game, trust what we do, we will create the chances. Yeah, I thought it was a flattering scoreline for Spurs. I kind of touched on that a little bit, but I mean, the slips, the garbage time goal, if we want to call it garbage time, was really bad defending off that set piece, but they got the goal. I just thought, again, we were much more consistently a threat in the final third in terms of, entries and pinning them in, creating chances, especially like the first 10 minutes of that second half before the penalty was given away, chance after chance. Forster actually played really well, I thought. Again, even though he held 4. He stopped a lot of chances where like, how did we not score? I think Neto on a rebound could have hit it first time, cut it back on his left, forced their save with the foot. Like he was good. Who else? Fernandez.
Nice finish.
Do not
Yeah,
let
it was class finish.
a woman hold you back. This man, ever since getting that divorce, it's a different player. Me and Dylan were kind of talking about before we fired up the pod, but I even said, like, I can see him doing better elsewhere. Like, I understand people thinking, like, it's time. I did say he can adjust to this role in terms of the final third. Like, he has the technical ability. If he could just kind of figure out what space to occupy there, how to be more dangerous in those areas. And it's starting to seem like he's really figuring it out. I think he also had a little more freedom to drop in and help build up, which was important. You see him ping a few balls across the pitch. Like, he just looked very comfortable. Also, I've never seen him run like this. Just the legs in him. Maybe it's the armband. Maybe, like Dylan said when we were off camera, a better team, you're more encouraged to run. Like, naturally, you're going to want to run more. But, man, just what a response from him, given the form he was in to start the season. I think the manager's really getting the best out of a lot of these guys. Robert Sanchez, he's just still not good. And another point to us being title challengers, not with him in goal. I don't think you're ever going to be. His distribution in the first half was so scary. I mean, he was another one. He gave away a good chance from them, too. He just gave them the ball. I think it was like 35th minute or something. He's shocking. But, again, we expect that. Jackson, I was pretty excited for this performance from you. Didn't have his best day. You saw the ideas. He was getting the ball and holding it up, trying to get his spin off his guys, create those chances, but got in behind as well. Whether it was good defending, he didn't get the finish. He didn't get his goal. Definitely seen better from him. I actually really liked seeing him come off and how upset he was, but he's not yelling at the manager for taking me off. He's not pouting. He's upset at himself. And he's holding himself to a really high standard, which I love because, you know, last year, 3-4 times a game, you're missing a big chance and you're only seeing it in flashes. He's really starting to become a complete striker, and I think that kind of back down to earth performance, but then he's holding himself to that standard, man. Like, you could tell just seeing how upset he was with himself. So I love that. And kind of my last thing I really had on the game, other than Palmer, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about him, but big game allegations. See ya. Fofana at right center back's a huge miss. Obviously, we have C.O.C, Badiashile, Tosin to be able to cover, but in terms of the profiles of those guys, Fofana's recovery pace, aggressiveness, being able to carry the ball along with being comfortable on it, we don't really have a direct replacement, if you want to say that. Like, C.O.C obviously is, in theory, the guy you'd want to put in to do that job, but not trusted by the manager based on what I'm seeing. So Fofana's a huge miss. I hope he comes back fit. Don't want to get him rushed in there. But, yeah, we got the job done. I know I'd say I'd be disappointed if we didn't batter them, but we still humiliated them at home, which is always the goal. I thought it was great. I mean, the Panenka at the end was just cherry on top in terms of just the way to come back. Like, that was hilarious. Just 2 stupid penalties given away. That was great. The script was good. So, what do we got? Kazakhstan on Thursday, and then...
No, I think...
I was going to say, can I jump in and then throw it to you, Mila, really quickly?
What do you guys got?
Yeah, sure.
I do want to say one thing about Jackson. He had a poor performance, and he cost that dude a ton of money by keeping Enzo's fucking shirt on. What a dirtbag. He cost that dude like $2,000 by
Jackson being the level head in this team.
That was pretty funny.
Strides we are making.
I can't believe he was the reason that guy lost 2 pounds. 2K pounds. I would have been fucking furious if I was watching that live and I was like, yeah, it's gonna happen. He's taking off his shirt, and then he just pulls it back down. I would have been.
So
that is a bettor's nightmare. It also means that potentially you need to call the number. But I don't know how much that guy bets. So, because that bet was pretty absurd. All right, Mila, yeah, now you can go.
I just think that Son had a glaring miss.
And yeah.
You would be talking a lot differently if that
Are
went
you
in.
talking about the one in the second half?
Yeah.
The one he missed wide.
Do they allow that? Is that goal stand to you guys? Because I know there was controversy with that. Well, so
it was
Udogie
close.
was off. No, so Son was on. But
what happened,
the ball was played over the top. The only guy there was Udogie, so they all stopped. To be fair, bad, just, tuning out. The switch was turned off. It was a bad mistake. But Son was from an onside position, so he just ran from the other side of the pitch. Not the other, but he was on the other side of the halfway line to come get that ball. So the players all stopped, and then Son runs onto it. So whether or not you consider Udogie interfering, I'm not sure. But again, that's us being fucking idiots giving them another chance.
Knowing Premier League, I was going to say, knowing Premier League standards, they've given that in the past. They've given that in the past.
Your guys, Darby.
They fired Coop.
Yeah, Anthony Taylor, to be fair to him, he had no shocking calls. I think people were bringing up the red card to Caicedo. I thought we always talk about slow-mos making him look bad, but this one in particular for me, because it wasn't where the boot just went straight in. He's clearly playing the ball, and then he goes over the top of it, and it glances into the shin. So he didn't go straight in. It didn't have reckless force is the terminology they use. So it was never a red for me, but I can understand. Yellow, absolutely.
It was naughty. It should have been a booking, but he didn't, yeah.
Kulusevski's is a better shout for a red because his elbow comes out. Like, it's not a full-on, MMA elbow. His elbow absolutely comes out. And again, I'm not mad at that not being a yellow. I like that this game was 11 versus 11. That's how I wanted to watch it. But again, the refereeing, they don't hate your team. They suck. That's all it is. So
that's what I was going to say. I'm happy that they kept both of them on the pitch because once you remove a player, you remove the normalcy of the game, and then it becomes just a mess. And the game for Spurs was already a mess. Could you imagine if it, like the Kula one becomes a red, or if vice versa, if Chelsea go down a man and they're already down 2-1,
2-1.
I don't know if you're coming back there because
there's chances to be had. To be fair, those idiots will still give us opportunities.
Absolutely, but they way harder. Especially without your best without one of your best players. I'm happy you kept him on the field. He was really good today as well, or did today on Sunday.
Yeah, Palmer. Oh, I know it was obviously 2 penalties, so I'm not even worried about the GA in terms of performance. That's my thing with Palmer.
That Panenka was so clean though.
Yeah, it was fucking.
You just gotta respect it.
Big net, the side net.
It's cold.
But again,
no, the other one was very well placed, but the Panenka was cold.
Yeah, it was class.
I was jumping up and down like a little fucking girl in my living room. I was so pumped, bro. Because again, bro, he's disrespecting Tottenham like he knows ball. But yeah, or the Fernandez goal, he's not going to get an assist for that, and as he shouldn't. It was a deflected shot. But to take that ball from the touchline to just go straight at 3-4 guys, weave through, he made something out of nothing, and that's what I want from my guy. You know what I mean? We'll take the penalties.
Did he get the assist for it?
No, it wasn't an assist. It was a block shot. He took a shot.
Or did he get the assist for it?
No. As he shouldn't. It's not an assist. But he made that chance happen. Yeah, that's all him. Won the penalty at the end, which, to be fair, I don't even give him credit for that. Pop star. It was just a really stupid tackle.
They were just reckless.
They lost their heads.
Yeah.
They lost their heads.
They've been doing what they've been doing all season, which is just inconsistent play and then a ton of mistakes.
It's the history of the Tottenham.
I feel bad.
I don't
for Ange because
I don't.
He does. I don't think that's his. But here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Oh, go for it. Yeah. Go.
Is that he's setting up the team to at least put themselves in a position to get results. Today, in that game, they could have very well have gotten points, but they just made the mistakes, right? I think that he's been.
What he has, though.
But what is? I mean, realistically,
that's the thing. But the way he's playing is not it's not like he's playing some scrubs. He's playing some of the best teams in the league. And doesn't change it with the players he has.
He does it against bad teams too, though. Ipswich at home, this is the Ange issue. Or for me, it's not Ange as much. I still think more of the blame. These players aren't good enough for what they're expecting. That squad is just not a Champions League level squad, right? Let's get that clear. Even last year, they overachieved. We were talking about them mid-table last year without Kane. Let's not forget where they started in terms of expectations when he came in. And then immediately, those 10 games just completely moved the goalpost for him. But he played this style, and you can clearly see the benefits and the exploits to playing this way. But, I mean, it's Celtic in the Scottish League. You're the best team. You have the best team on paper. So they should execute your game plan and beat these other teams. Your Spurs, let's just be on paper, we probably have the better team. So in theory, a good coach goes, you know what, this is my style of play, but maybe we make a few adjustments here and there. Maresca, again, chef's kiss. He took off our best player at halftime for tactical reasons, they said. Well, at the end, I think it was a hamstring.
It was a hamstring. Yeah.
Sure. But to make an adjustment, it wasn't a like-for-like switch. He goes, I'm going to put Gusto at right back. Caicedo goes in midfield. Now Badia Shield's going to be on the left side of build-up to where he's comfortable there. Cucurella's going to hold that space as the 10, but in reality, he's more of a dummy, so Enzo can kind of make those runs. Cucurella falls back. Like, these chef's kiss. Absolutely chef's kiss with him. And Ange, he's tactically stubborn, and you have to respect that because we've talked about it with Amarim and coming into United. You need to have a style of play, so it's understood what's going to cut it and what's not going to cut it. That's fantastic. However, if it's too far down on that side, now he's not adjusting anything. So game by game, you're just gung-ho the whole time. They were 2-0 up at home against us, and immediately it was still wide open. It wasn't even like it took us a little bit.
They're playing on like they were walking on thin ice with the center back pairing.
I was gonna say, so the game completely changed for Tottenham when Romero
went down before the first goal.
Because it changes the way that they play. But what I will say in his defense is, what are you expecting him to do?
Oh, he can't do
with the players available. It's either you play your style and you ride its course. Because here's the thing: if they change up their style now, what does that do for them? They're not getting Champions League football. They're not battling for anything. It's about building consistency, and the club has to give him money. The club has to back him. They gave him a bunch of. What did they give? They gave him Solanke.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think those are his signings. I think
they gave him Solanke and Archie Gray.
Bergvall, all kids. They signed a bunch of.
They gave him 2 kids and 1 guy that actually.
He got Timo Werner again.
Look, Tottenham chooses not to spend money.
It's the board's
and that's
problem.
Their own issue.
It's their
and I think that as a manager, what is he supposed to do? I really don't get it, because if he was to go in a different direction and he was to stop playing the style of football and it was to be crap, they'd sack him. That's what they've done with all their other managers.
Yes. I think
that's
you can play this
style.
The
way this is going, he's going to get sacked either way, though. So
I just think you can play this style. I think you can play this style and also minorly tweak it on a game-by-game basis, on a personnel basis. Like, I think Udogi's been shocking this whole year. Jet Spence doesn't play. They signed him 3 years ago. Throw Jet Spence at left back. He can defend.
If he's not playing, dude, if he's not in the sides, he's not going to play. There's a reason why he's not in favor with the manager. I'm very much on the manager's side here.
I agree. I think it's way more the board's fault. I think it's a deeper stemming issue. I think if Ange came in to us last year, it would have been a different. I think he'd be doing better right now than. I think Tottenham's a whole other ballgame. It's a tough place to win, and as we can see, there's only so much a coach can do there. We've seen coaches be really good, go to Tottenham, not win anything, leave, and continue on their same path. So it's a club issue before it's a manager issue. But I just think, man, like, you can't change anything. Like, you're just gung-ho forever. Like, we can't drop back.
I think that it's hypocritical to say that you're gung-ho and you're doing all this, but then all other managers are No, but that's the thing, is like, if Maresca had the crap players that he was dealing with, he wouldn't change anything either, because that's just their style of play.
He would.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Things half by half is what I'm saying. So there's still an
because you have $600 million in this squad. It's just Chelsea are a different case. I shouldn't have brought them up because that's not important. United and them are very similar. Like, for all the reasons that Ten Hag got slack, or all the reasons that, or the opposite reasons of why Ange is now getting slack. I don't get it. There's no middle ground there for me.
100% do better. I think Ange can do better. I think there's a gray area to where, it's your philosophy, but you can still tweak things tactically to where your philosophy's still going to work. The style of play is the same, but because of these adjustments, which again, these top-level tacticians would know much better than my dumbass, they make these small minor adjustments and boom, you're sorted. Whether it's Van de Ven at left back, obviously he's injured right now, but you could throw Van de Ven at left back with Dragus and Romero. You have more defensive security there. Because I look at their back line, I think Pedro Porro's a good player. I think Romero's a good player. I think Van de Ven's a good player. I think Udogi's a good player. Why are they so awful as a unit?
I think it's the consistency that bothers
It's
me.
Consistency and injuries,
but
right?
That's what I think goes against.
I think that's a club issue more than
there's no consistency in his system, so like.
Is that not on the players though too?
Ange,
like I don't know.
Yes, but it could be that it's like.
I think Ange holds the least weight of blame. I do think Ange holds the least of the blame in terms of the board, the players, Ange. He's got the smallest cut on the pie. But I still think he's accountable. But yeah, the players are just embarrassing. I would be fucking fuming if I were a Tottenham fan. This is such a huge game, and you have Basuma and Sarr just with unwarranted challenges. Just what are they doing? What's going through your mind right before that challenge? So I think a lot more of it is on the players. But I still think he could do better. I just think he is a good coach. So these are things that like I would expect you to see and change.
I guess my point is like, since we try to be somewhat analytical, what is the change? Because I can't think of it, and I think that's my biggest issue and why I can't even.
It's
If
probably
I
the
was a
midfield
fan
for
of,
me. It's the midfield for me because it switches every game, to Mila's point.
It switches every game because they've been that inconsistent in terms of like the actual players themselves. Madison is the best 10 in one game against City. And then the next game he's fucking woeful. And it's not because he sets up the system any different, right? So it's
that's not true too though, because if you're going double eights, Madison and Kulusevski, right? Like that is clearly very attacking.
That was a tactical change this year. He changed him from a winger to a center mid, right? And then Madison can't play. So then what, were we supposed to put him back on the wing?
So my point being with the midfield, if you go double eights like that, it's very attacking. You can't get away with that against us. So now, okay, we're going to put Sar in there as one of the eights who's a lot more defensive-minded, and that gives Kulusevski, the other eight, much more freedom to get forward. So there's things like that, small tweaks where it's like instead of two gung-ho double eights, like 10s pretty much, we'll put Sar as one of them, right? But now where do you put Madison if Kulusevski? Again, he should have probably started, hindsight 2020, Kulusevski on the right, Madison in the middle with Sar Basuma. You know what I mean?
But Kulusevski's terrible on the wing. That's what I'm saying.
He drifts out there all the time. That's where
because of the system. Because of the system.
Because he's comfortable working on that side of the pitch.
But that's a part of the system, is what I'm saying. Is you're asking him to change things by putting him on the wing and putting in another midfielder, but then that changes the system.
Dylan, when he plays as a midfielder, the reason it works so well with him and Brennan Johnson, because if you combine those two, it's probably the best winger in the world. So when he's playing on that side, he just drifts out wide. Now you pretty much have two wingers there. So that's the idea. So he's going to be out there anyways. Mind you, I think he's better starting off in the middle, to your point, and drifting out versus being forced to hold that width. It's better to give a player with that quality the freedom to move. But realistically, in this game, I don't think that was.
So then you chuck in Madison, he gets overrun by Lavia and Caicedo. I don't see. That's what I'm saying, is like the options just aren't there for him to make the adjustments. I think that's what I'm advocating
about
for.
In crazy conversations. I've heard
not by us.
Yeah,
we're
not
gonna
by
have to. I think it's gonna be a we'll see.
Yeah, gives a fuck.
Thing. If they don't make a signing in January, to your point, then like, what are they doing?
I also think they don't have like a good six for that system. Like Bentancur doesn't have the legs for it.
He's also racist.
Nah, I would never know anything about my midfielders being accused of racism.
Oh, when you win games, it gets pushed under the rug. When
I thought we had a clear. I thought there was a civil war in the ownership. I haven't heard about that in a while.
Yeah, getting points and winning covers all controversy.
You know what? Like, I've been scared to say it, but I am, like, we're back, and the reason I'm like confident in saying that is like just seeing Jamie Carragher switch up. You know what I mean? Because it's night and day. He went from we're not young and exciting, all that stuff. There's nothing there to. Oh, they spent that much. They should be good. Absolutely right. We're back. It's that simple.
Oh, so I'm looking at the City one. He started Madison in the midfield, put Kulusevski out wide. I think they started that the next game, and it didn't work.
Right.
So I guess he did make the tweaks.
I think that's down more to the players. To your point, I think the players bear much more weight, because what I've heard from a lot of Tottenham fans, it's like, oh, we'll show up for these big games, like the City game, whatever, and then Ipswich take points off us. Bournemouth, to be fair, Bournemouth have been really good at home. But they're Robin Hood, to everyone's point. But they only turn up for the big games, but I got too big for your boots, unfortunately, today.
To be fair, like Mila was saying, they were one opportunity away from making it more of a game.
Ifs, I would have won the election, but they didn't. They lost.
It's Son, though.
We won.
I know. It's not some bomb, though. It's if Son was not a fucking
was
idiot
he offside?
in that play.
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that I thought it was.
The whole play.
No,
they probably allow that goal. They probably allow it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Anthony Taylor tax, sadly.
That you guys controlled the game.
If he puts that away, again, to your point, absolutely, it's a tie game now. It would have been 3-2. I think we create more. You know what I mean? Like, I think we win this game. Yeah, I think we win this game no matter how it went in terms of that chance gets put away. How do we react? I think our reactions this year have been fantastic. Mm-hmm. So I don't doubt that. But yeah, 100%. If he scored, different game. If Forster wasn't on his game, different game.
No. The ifs can go both ways. I guess I want to touch on Chelsea, and then we can hop off of them. Yeah, Sancho was really good. to what you were saying earlier. I will say that there was a couple of chances for him to ice the game, and he didn't do it.
Oh, towards the end, played
Yeah.
pass.
So it's look, he had a great goal. He had a great goal, and he was really good throughout the game. But I just there's still, I mean, just because he scores a goal doesn't mean that he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna overreact in the same way that I would overreact in the other direction.
Well, I will. 2 in a row.
He scored. It was a great goal. I haven't seen him do that in some time, and kudos to the manager. He's getting the best out of him. He's playing good football. I look. I was saying it before the pod. Look, Chelsea's like the only team that I can root for here in the top 4 that I actually wouldn't mind seeing win it all. So I can hop on that train, so to speak.
Actually, no.
I don't think that it's gonna happen because of the mistakes that were made in the game. I think that against a better side, those 2 mistakes end up costing you 3 points, not somehow. I
guess I do want to. I want to revisit one more thing before we get off this. I want to revisit your hot take.
Which one?
That United bar Palmer have pretty much on par with Chelsea.
Yeah, right? Because if Palmer doesn't play in this game, which he was brilliant and had 2 goals, the scoreline is 3-2 Spurs.
You think if he doesn't play, no one compensates for that?
No, I genuinely do not believe that anybody can emulate what he does, and that's a bigger issue at United, is the idea that they don't have a player of that quality. They don't have a player of that caliber.
Yeah, I think Cole Palmer is a top player, so I agree.
That take was less about Chelsea being bad and United being good, and more about Cole Palmer should be understood as one of the better players in the world.
Okay, because what I was gonna do is kind of go through our squads and be like, who in your team gets into our team? Because I only think like Onana. Onana's the only guy I'd take over Gusto's current form. Possibly, yeah, but Gusto's 20 years old, so I'd probably take him over Meza.
I think the center back pairing, I think you could probably say a Euro or a Delict could get in.
Delict, I would not have Delict.
I think that it's just because United have been bad. I don't think his performances have been bad. He's better than Badiashile.
Badiashile's not a star. Yeah, I'd take Fofana over Delict.
Yeah, but Fofana, yeah.
I'd take Delict over C.O.C, sure, but he's not getting into the lineup over Fofana.
I look, United are a bad team.
Yeah, no one in the attack. So that was okay. You clarified your point. I don't have too much more to say then, because I thought the point was more of, like you were saying, their squad's equivalent in terms of level. I just don't think it's close.
No, but also, like, we're looking at this in hindsight in terms of Chelsea are flying and United are crap.
It was a month ago.
But no, but it's still hindsight, is what I'm saying. Like, because at that point,
I told you to revisit it. I wanted to revisit it.
And I still think we'll have this conversation. I think success is defined by where you're at in the season. And I think that the fact that we're having Chelsea being in the title race is just kind of where the two sides are at. Look, United are a dumpster fire from top to bottom. They had a manager change mid-season. They're trying to go through stuff. We'll talk about them more later. But I look, I also don't like the idea that we're talking like, oh, Chelsea shouldn't be winning the league, because I don't think any success is guaranteed, and I don't think health is guaranteed anymore. And look at City. Like, you lose one key integral player and it all falls apart. I think Palmer is that type of player. Like, if you were to lose Palmer for an extended period, it all falls apart. Right? So I think you guys should be going for it right now. I think this is the time to go for it.
I think they are going for it. But I think they're taking...
But the manager's not saying that. And the manager's saying that it's different, right? And it's week by week. And yes, I understand the headspace of that. But if I was a Chelsea fan, this is the time. City are at their weakest. Arsenal have been at their weakest.
This is the beginning, brother. This is only the beginning.
Too early to talk shit, I think.
Absolutely.
No. Especially as a new manager and a young team, you don't want to do that.
The youngest team in the league. We've got guys coming in next year that we're talking about already. I've said it on the record a million times.
And how many of them have won things also?
Willian Esteval just won Player of the Year in his league.
Esteval is not on your team right now.
So I thought that's what you're talking about. The guys
who on your team has won anything? Like, if you're gonna put the manager's gonna put that.
Cucurella won a Euros. Yeah. That's only. I'm literally thinking. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. Well, Reece James.
And none of them were like leaders in those squads. So I'm saying
Right.
like to put that pressure on your guys' players as the manager, I think that would be crazy.
This is just
No. I'm not saying the manager's in the wrong for doing it. I'm saying if I was a Chelsea fan, that's how I would look at it. I know that the idea is high, but nothing in sports is guaranteed. Nothing in sports is guaranteed, and I think that this is an opportunity for you guys to do it. Because on Thursdays, you're playing in fucking Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
It's fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like you're playing nobodies, and I think that the idea that you can rotate the squad,
they're
have
fresh.
everybody fresh in the Premier League, is an advantage that no other Big Six team has that you're currently competing with. So why not go for it? Why not have that be the bar?
I think
right
that
now
is
it's-
the bar internally. I think they're just trying to keep it in house, keep expectations. And again, I'm not going to move goalposts. I wanted Champions League this year. Do I think we're going to get Champions League this year? Way more confident than I was at the start of the season. Way more confident after the Man City game we lost. But again, with guys like Robert Sanchez in the squad, with mistakes like the ones we had to let them go up 2-0, it's not a championship winning team. We all know that. Like, let's not take the piss. So what I'm thinking is, okay, the year where I wanted us to get Champions League, we're above expectations. Give them a little nudge at the top, but realistically, they're probably not going to win anything. Okay. And then you get in more guys. They're a year older. That's the year we compete for the title. And I said that way before this year even started, so I can't believe that's actually kind of the track we're on. But yeah, the process is sped up a little bit for sure. Phase 1's moving pretty fast.
I just think that I think the bar has to move
9
up.
or
And
10 in Arteta terms of where we're at. This is like phase 10.
that's the thing is like there's been
Phase
look, you can look at Arsenal like that. And success is not guaranteed. They didn't take their chance, and when is that chance going to come? That's my counter argument to it. Also, you guys, this is one of the most expensive squads in the world. It's not like this is some. It's not like we're looking at this squad and we're like, oh, there's Southampton that's overperforming. It's the most. This is the most expensive squad in the Prem.
Well, the numbers get thrown out a lot. 1.2 billion spent, heinous number, 100%.
No, we can call it 650 mil.
Since Bowley came in or whatever. Yeah, the amount of those numbers that are in the squad, if I had to guess, Mila's probably close around 650 mil worth of transfers in terms of what's in our team. Let's not forget about all the players we sell. Unlike a team like Arsenal, who struggle to offload players, which leads them to
it's not.
I'm not bringing. I'm
just
saying
the value of the player. It's not anything to be like, oh, we shouldn't be super surprised.
We shouldn't. They shouldn't be competing because they're young and they're unexperienced. I'm saying that this is one of the most expensive squads in Europe, if not the most expensive squad. And I know that it's unfair to move the bar up, but I think that it's worth the conversation. I think that's what should be done. I think that bar has to be moved.
I think it's there internally, to be fair. I think they're absolutely expecting to just win every game. Like, that's what their goal is. We want to keep winning games. We want to win something. Just something. Obviously, the Prem would be fantastic. Like, I think their goal is just to win every week. And to kind of our point when we talked about the captains a while back, like, they need to develop a winning culture. So I don't know where else it comes. But again, the way I see it when everyone's talking about, are you in the title race? Are you not in the title race? I think we can compete for the title. I don't think we're going to win the Premier League. I think there's like a 5% chance to me that we win it. And I'd be delighted to win it, of course. I don't expect them to win this league. I don't think anyone realistically expects them to win the league this year, based off what we've watched. But yeah, it'd be great to give them a little push, give them a run for their money. But I think they are holding themselves to that standard. And to your point, Dylan, they are able to rotate because of the competitions they're in. They're fresh for every Prem game. The 11 that he wants to be fresh, they are fresh. So I think
they can do it. It's just the most advantageous position that you guys are going to be in within the.
Can't rotate champions.
Looking at this in way far out.
Yeah, you can't play a second team in the Champions League.
No, you know what I mean? And you're not going to because you guys are Chelsea. You shouldn't.
You shouldn't. So yeah, 100%. This will be the easiest 38 games we play compared to next year, to where hopefully we're in Champions League. But yeah, I think they're gonna take it just as seriously. But yeah, I think everything's absolutely lovely. It's beautiful.
The reason that I bring this up, because we're going to segue away, is a team that was in dead last season, spent a ton of money, and decided, you know what, we're going to go win it all, is that team right there. Me and Mila were in the building for it, a 2-1 win over New York Red Bulls.
Hold that.
Success is never guaranteed, but when you're the best team in LA, it sometimes is.
Best team in the country.
Mila, do you want to talk about the experience in MLS Cup champion LA Galaxy?
6 times.
Yeah, dude, that was a sick game.
Yeah,
We were not gonna go. No, we were not gonna go at all. It was too expensive. We were just cussing at Don Garber the whole time, and we decided to splash a little when the prices went down, and it was definitely worth it. Wanted to just see the Galaxy win the trophy. I haven't seen that before. I don't know if you were at the last one.
I was at one of them. I was in 2012. But
So yeah, that was the first one for me, and that alone is cool. But I also think seeing like Yoshida and Royce win their first ever league trophies is a big moment, especially when they're kind of on the end parts of their careers. I really enjoyed seeing that, as well as the celebrations afterwards. I think those were really cool, just to see how the Galaxy operate as a team. It does feel like a family, and the fucking stadium showed out, and it felt like it felt like we weren't in Southern California watching a soccer game.
Those plastic New York fans weren't loud enough.
no,
Dude,
they were awesome.
loud.
They were
came,
awesome.
I respect
Kudos
to the New York fans.
to the Red Bull fans.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to talk some shit.
After
I
the
actually-
game, they were
No,
loud too,
I've
bro.
got a lot of
They-
respect
they-
for him, except
yeah.
for
I
Emilia Forsberg.
Oh, yeah, ask his wife and kids how they feel about that.
Yeah,
one.
they
So-
probably hate his fucking guts.
Yeah, as they should. I do too. Bro, I would have went. I would have drove out. But I had UFC tickets.
It's okay. Ricky said it's not the last
It's
one.
not the last
I
time,
believe
right?
him. He better stay one more. Is he going to stay another year? Well, he's got. Yeah.
I think he's a lifelong Galaxy guy, and regardless of if he leaves and he recovers from the ACL and he goes, there's not a single player that I respect more than Ricky Puig, because he's been there. He is the reason that the Galaxy were able to get out of this pit. I've been a Galaxy fan my whole life, and I've seen the trials of being a Galaxy fan. The last 10 years have been awful. And there's certain players that really are special, and they make a team special. And this team, like Mila was saying, was full of really, really special characters and special players. Puig is obviously one of them. If he stayed on the Galaxy forever, I'd pay him whatever money. It doesn't really matter. He's one of those guys.
Do you think he's that level to go back to Europe? I think, because I was there when he debuted. Like, he came on for like 20 minutes. You could tell right away he's the best player on the pitch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'd hope so. And for his career, I'd hope so. But this ACL injury makes things a little more difficult.
Super tough.
I also think that he loves LA, and I think that
League's
there's going to be
rising.
LA
too.
loves Ricky.
The league's only getting better and better every year. So if he wants to be one of the main faces of that, I think we'll totally welcome him. I'm not going to complain about that.
I was gonna say, look, the MLS is a league on the rise, regardless of if it's inflated stats or not. They sold the second most attended sports soccer league in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to the US, whether Europe and the rest of the world likes it or not. It will be here at some point.
I think that stat was not like, to me, like, oh, we're better than the top 5 leagues or whatever, but it showed more the evolution of the sport in our country. So it was just a cool stat to me. I wasn't like, oh, hold that fucking Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did 30 teams, but yeah.
Like, we have a lot more people in our country, but the people were not going to the games.
Sports attendance is going down. Like, I've seen it firsthand. Like, you see, like,
but
people go to games.
To see one sport that isn't like a top sport.
Yeah, like in a place like
crazy.
Charlotte. In a place like Charlotte, I would have never imagined. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely loving their soccer, as we call it. So yeah, it's a great thing, and to you guys' point, the league's absolutely getting better in terms of quality. And
there's definitely changes to be made is a league thing, but they're already talking about that, I believe. So schedule things are one thing that people talk about a lot. That would
Ricky
help with
Puig,
transfers as well.
Is he better than Messi?
Hey, look, man, Messi doesn't have an MLS Cup. You're only judged by your trophies, is I think what I've heard. So
yeah,
if
Marco
that's the
Royce
case.
has one.
Marco Royce
has one.
Yeah, I guess if we go game specific, Greg Vanney managed maybe the best game of his managerial career, dude. To be without your best player, who really carried the Galaxy through a large portion of the year. They weren't great when he wasn't there. And then to go and have the sack to not play an attacking mid with either Fagundes or Royce. To not
Royce was hurt in
start
the week. So
right. But either way, like to not
it was a lot
have.
harder of a call to make with Fagundes being the main option, I think. But yeah.
I mean, Royce still came on first. Like that was the
Mhm.
thing, is like to go with your gut instinct and to play the guys that have been there and got you through the season. And with Delgado, who's been the workhorse, and he didn't win MVP, but man, if there was a player
Definitely could have.
I was thinking it was him. There was
I thought a lot. I think a lot of the people on the defense could have won MVP.
that's also fair. Brugman had a great
Honestly.
game, and I'm not trying
Yeah,
to
no,
sour
I don't
his
think.
MVP, but
Yeah, definitely not. I think he definitely deserved it, but you could have given it to Delgado. You could have given it to Yamane. Garces
Garces was incredible. The
was
Galaxy don't win that game
putting his
without him.
body on the line every play. I think he hurt his head, his back, and his ankle, and he played throughout the whole game basically. So that was cool. Delgado hurt his shoulder. He kept playing. And was the hardest working player in the field. Yoshida just looked composed. Nelson was
the only
good.
player
Like,
that I
they
think
were
played
all
every
really
single
good.
game for the Galaxy too. Maya Yoshida.
Yeah. El Capitan.
An incredible experience, man. I texted Mila like that's a bucket list item. You don't get to see your teams win championships in person every single year. That's the beauty of sports, is you don't.
You don't get to meet the captain the year that
That's
you win
also
the
true.
championship. Also, that's
also
fucking
true.
signed jersey, along with other signed things. Like, I don't know. This is a special season to say the
Special
least.
season, special team. Shout out to Will Kuntz to put together that roster in your first season. Probably the best executive in Major League Soccer. I don't think it's close. He did it with LAFC, came here, and totally revamps a team that has been bad. Like literally, United level of crap in terms of what they were for the last 10 years, and maybe even worse in terms of just the ownership, everything going wrong, can't get a DP signing right, can't get this, that. You have a supporters protest. And shout out to the supporters, because that doesn't happen unless they do that. Boycotts work. And to prove that maybe whatever people in Europe think about the MLS, like these fans care. It's a part of them too. And soccer here is just as important as it is everywhere else in the world. Just because we call it soccer and not football doesn't make it any different.
We got other sports, man. That's really another thing. That, like, obviously there's like cricket in Europe, but we've got basketball, baseball, American football, even NHL, ice hockey. Like, those are 4 major sports that are deemed the big 4 over MLS. So MLS, and really a market that already has been cornered, really it's opening this pocket for itself. And even me, who's kind of introduced to MLS a little later, just going to those games, like, I kind of went into it almost like, oh, this is soccer, like, whatever, we'll sit there, it'll be all right. Those fans give a lot of fucks. Yeah. They're very serious. So yeah, to your point,
it matters.
It absolutely matters, and it 100% is a part of the community.
It's beautiful. I'm just happy to see it, because when I was going to games as kids, it was never like this. And Mila's went to games as kids. It was never like this. But certain catalysts changed the way that this game's been played. And those guys deserve recognition. You know, your Robbie Keanes, your Beckhams, your Donovans, your Tim Howards, the guys that have built the sport to where it is now. Look, me and Mila got to see Marco Royce lift a trophy in the U.S. Like, if you had told me that 15 years ago, 16 years ago, I would have called you fucking insane.
Yeah, that alone. But to see him lift his first trophy, his only trophy that he has, or league trophy, I guess.
Domestic, yeah.
It's crazy. It's really crazy.
It's a chef's kiss. It's almost poetry. Because I think there was only one team on planet Earth. I truly believe this, and he was a Dortmund guy forever. I think there was only one team that really could have made it that type of poetry, and it really was the Galaxy. There's not 5 stars on this jersey, soon to be 6 for a reason. You know what I mean? Like,
get it done.
Stars come to LA. LA's a place for sports to grow, and I think that the Galaxy are just one of those mainstays in all of soccer, not just the U.S., where we're going to see exponential growth from years and years to come. And it was exciting, man. We're champions. Look, United lost this week. I didn't even think about United. It was that awesome.
And I will co-sign that.
It was that awesome.
I
Some
think I'm
people
still
might think he's
definitely
full of
riding
shit.
the high of
He's
that.
dead on.
I could give two shit.
No,
That's
he's not
how
lying.
much I love the Galaxy.
He's not
And
lying.
they're my club. Like United will always be also my club, but if I had to pick one, I'm picking the Galaxy because I love them that much. They're just awesome. They're just awesome. They have an affection, towards people. It's a disease.
As a
It really
hater,
is.
I did want to support LAFC when you guys were first showing me MLS, but
You go to one
Galaxy.
game, man.
It's exactly what happened.
It's also
Yeah,
like
I
the
almost-
only team
I
that we can all
almost bought an
support.
LAFC shirt just
It is-
to piss you guys off.
it is.
Yeah, bro. I'm
It
just a
is.
prick.
Like we all support
point,
a bunch of
The
different
Galaxy
teams,
is special.
and
It
there's
really is.
It
Because
is special.
You guys know I love to hate. I would have absolutely willingly picked the rival and just been an asshole, but no. Galaxy it's special, 100%.
Yeah, Mila, you want to say anything else about the Galaxy in 6, or you good?
More to come.
Yeah,
Who's
more to
co-
come.
Who's next? Who's coming? That's all. I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to phrase that out there.
Yeah,
And
I don't think this is the last time on the podcast we'll talk about the MLS. I don't. I want to keep talking about Galaxy, and I think that the league's growing to a point where we're going to have to at some point. So, starting next
Can we
season.
talk about Inter Miami?
Yeah, bums. Messi sucks, loser. Imagine not having an MLS Cup. Yeah,
Trophy cabinet's not complete.
dude, it's one of the hardest trophies in the world to win.
Real.
It's one of the hardest trophies in the world to win.
Let's get back to hating.
Yeah,
self-hate.
Self-hate, deprecation.
No. I thought we were going to talk about Arsenal dropping points real quick.
Oh yeah,
I
I forgot about Arsenal. That was a treat. Let's restart it. I'll give you the space. 3, 2, 1, go.
What did I say? Goddamn.
Just say anything you want about hating on Arsenal. It works.
Let's get back to hatred.
Yes. Arsenal dropped points again against Fulham 1-1 in a London-type derby.
That was a London derby, 100%.
Yeah, I don't really know which ones. There's so many of them that I don't know.
It's a London derby.
It's not a London derby I was expecting them to drop points in, but am I surprised?
Fulham are
Fulham's
good
in
team.
really good form. Very good form.
Actually caught most of that game. Thankfully caught that equalizer, or the winner that got disallowed. That was content. But yeah, I think Fulham, to be fair to Fulham, they've kind of really gone at teams this year. And against Arsenal, they adjusted. Marco Silva said, "Oh, we're not going to be able to just go band for band with these guys. They got their goal early. They defended their asses off. We give tons of shit to Arsenal for parking the bus, all that. But a team like Fulham, do your job. They did their job to a very high level. They got their goal and they defended their asses off. Arsenal scored off the set piece, and then they get
Who
that
would have
win.
thought?
But Martinelli being offside, just shocking on that, to be fair. And they've had problems on that left side. I think Martinelli's drop off in form. Facundo's talked about it a lot and gave us some good insight there last episode. But Trossard as well, not really the answer in terms of a starting left winger. That's an issue that's got to be addressed. And I know they have a guy that we're paying half his wages, but we know his level, so he's not stiff in the fucking starting 11. But yeah, that's a big problem for them. And again, we obviously kind of tried to get Facundo to explain it to us a little more. Like, can we rely on open play to create our chances? And again, it's a low block. It's tough to break down. But, I mean, I think I saw 0.3 XG without set pieces. And again, XG is a crazy stat. It can be taken out of context. It's more than context. I think it's enough of a sample size to start looking at it. And I think watching that game, it's like, fuck. Like,
it's live by the sword, die by the sword.
I can understand being down 0-0 to 80th. And you know what? Let's try and get some corners because we're good at these. And being real good at them, awesome. I think that's a really good thing to have in your back pocket. I don't think that's something you can rely on every game. I think the United game was at like 13-0 in terms of corners. But they're like actively looking to win corners because I saw someone try to tell me.
They had 6 last game.
Someone tried to tell me, it was like, oh, well, look at all these corners we're winning. That means we're on the front foot. Like, they're shamelessly trying to win. You know what I mean? Like, some of them they're trying to win, which again, fair play. They're really good at corners and they're scoring them. But to our argument, the sustainability aspect of it, it's scary, and they have a good run of games coming up. But given where they're at, they do have to be flawless. They really do. Unless Liverpool start to slip, them, City, in terms of those are teams expecting to go for the title. Obviously, City circumstances changed all that. There's zero room for error right now. They cannot keep dropping points. And I think, to be fair, I think they probably do go on a little run here in the Prem. But yeah, it's definitely not disappointing. It's fantastic. But yeah, man, I think the left wing thing's more of an issue. I think that's a bigger issue than the striker issue for them. But
Everybody wants to be Stoke until you realize what Stoke is. That was all I heard after the United game. Look, you beat a bad team, a bad set piece team on set plays. To your point about this bad run of games, Everton are better at set plays. Palace are good at set plays. Ipswich is good at set plays.
Twice too.
Brentford
played them in the cup.
Yep,
And then
Brentford
played
are
them
good
in
at
the
set
league.
plays. Brighton are good at set plays. Like, if you cannot score an open play, you're going to drop points in those games, regardless of if you're good or not. Fulham didn't have anything going forward, and they tied 1-1. Nobody, the idea of Stoke sounds great when you beat up on a United team who's bad, but when you're going to drop points against potentially, a Palace or an Ipswich or something like that because you don't have anything that's not a set piece, which I'm guaranteeing now will happen. I don't care if I clip this later and I look like an idiot, but I've got a feeling in this next run of Prem games that they're going to drop points against some of these teams, one or not, if not more of these teams, because they don't have anything going forward, unless it's Odegaard or Saka.
You're saying between now and January 4th?
I forgot. I just looked at their games briefly, and I just saw it was a nice little run of games.
Between the stretch right before they play.
Crystal Palace are picking up form right now, so that's not an easy game anymore.
And it's away.
I think
Brentford.
Ipswich is a difficult team, and they have athletes. I think Brentford is the same thing.
They should
Brentford and Brighton too.
In Brighton, I just think that nobody's ever said they want to be Stoke, and Arsenal fans said they want to be Stoke.
Which is crazy for me because of the identity and the way they've go look at Wenger's quotes on Stoke.
Not even to that point, but if I was making the point about Chelsea's squad value and how they should be aiming for that, we're talking about a team that's one of the most expensive in Europe. Spend a ton of money on Rice. You've got Saka. You've got Odegaard. Let's not fucking act like you're Stoke City. I get it. It's funny. We're playing into the thing that we're getting mocked at. But the reason the teams are mocking you is because it's fucking embarrassing. You should be embarrassed by the style of your play, not the other way around.
Bro,
that's my opinion on it. Sorry.
That's why I asked Facundo last time. I said, "Are you proud? Is this what are you?" And obviously, I'm fucking with him. But to your point, Stoke did what they did because of the players on that team.
Not because
looked at that and goes, "Oh, you know what? Fuck it. We're letting the grass grow long. We're hoofing it." Because he saw what the players were. I'm sure you guys saw the clip.
Stoke.
Right.
We're talking about Arsenal.
The manager goes, "Oh, this is our only way this is our best way to victory. Clearly, let's do it." We saw them play beautiful football less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously, things change. Teams approach you differently. I totally get all that. Let's not act like Pep became just very pragmatic manager at any point in his career. And I think probably most of his career, that was the team where it's like, oh, we really need to be careful against them. So it's not, I don't want to use that excuse. And I think Slot and Maresca are making him look like a fool too.
Yeah, dude.
Slot's done a fucking job. Obviously, he's got a full season to do it, but
yeah, I don't get how long Arteta's gonna get.
Well, I think if Slot wins the league, that raises another question. If we finish above them, that raises a question.
Who are you gonna bring in to do
Thomas Frank?
Look, they're gonna stick with him because the leash on him is so long. But
He's an Arsenal guy too, which helps. He knows what it means to lose.
Look, man, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be fuming.
Oh, I love him.
But maybe the standards are higher because our teams have higher standards than Arsenal. When you don't win shit and you grasp onto an FA Cup from 4 years ago, I guess that's the levels to it. Because I don't think that if you were to replace their form and put them with the City or a Chelsea or a Liverpool or a United, that fans would be happy, nor would they be praising for him to come back another season and be Stoke City on set pieces.
And let's just make sure we have this on the record so we can use it as a clip because it's kind of funny. But number 29 ruined the project. That's the agenda I'm gonna run with if they don't win this year. So just make sure I put that in stone that it's all his fault. To an extent, someone can actually argue it. I don't actually think that, but I don't think that signing helped.
Arteta's been there long enough to be like, hey, I need a striker. Give me a
genuinely,
striker. Or the board is not
it,
doing their job in that situation. Like
let's. You guys know how I feel. You guys know how I feel about Havertz. So obviously, I don't like the guy. I don't rate the guy. But when you sign a guy for that much, and they did sign him as a midfielder, they wanted him to be a midfielder.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
they signed him as a midfielder to fix that left-hand side to replace what Xhaka did for them, who I still don't think they've replaced. I think Marino's the guy that they want to do that job. But they signed Havertz as an 8, didn't work, threw him up top, got some goals last year, started to somewhat get into form, revived his career, all that stuff. And we're going back to the 9 shouts again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that
they wouldn't have those shouts, though, if there was a 9 in the 100%, team.
100%.
You know?
And I think also...
He would be either out of the squad or in the midfield.
I think maybe it plays more into Europe than the Prem, but I feel like you kind of want a few guys at least to be able to rely on. I know I'm going to get output out of this guy. Year in, year out. I think Saka's your only guy in terms of goals and assists. Where it's like, oh, we know what we're going to get we're going to get output. Nowhere else in the squad's like that's guaranteed GA. Bar the corners now with the assists. But I feel like you need a ruthless number 9 in that system, given their squad, all that stuff. And again, I think Havertz is definitely a better player than he was with us, which isn't saying much, but I don't think that's a championship level 9. So
they went from being a mini Stoke City, a mini Man City to a Stoke City. How does that? I just don't.
I think Facundo's right though. I think that 4-1 scarred him. I do think he's right about that.
That's called being a fucking pussy. I'm sorry. That's so weak.
No. Whatever it is, I think Facundo is on to.
I think he's right too, but I think he meant it in a good way, and I see that as a bad thing.
I get it, and it could have been a good way if it wasn't so extreme. Is where I'll leave it.
Yeah, he went and bought 4 center backs and 3 DMs, and he plays all of them.
Just because you get beat bad.
To be fair, I have no idea.
We've forward to Leicester City before, and
that was embarrassing. That was an ass whooping. The context and timing of that game.
Yes, of course.
He got his pants pulled down.
Yes, but
I'm not defending it, but
look at the result. Look at the results after it. Like there was, I don't know.
It was a turning point and a negative, in my opinion.
It's not like we didn't fucking back up.
I guess going back to Dylan's point, all the way back when we were talking about Ange, like he sacrificed his way of play to go. You know what? Like we can't let that ever happen again.
And
so
where's that get?
Be strong up top.
And where's that getting them?
Shit, if they had Holland, it might help, but they don't. They have fucking Kai Havertz.
I'm not even sure with the way that they play if they had a true 9. At this point, I'm not sure.
Let me think of someone honestly, they were linked to Sheshko. I think if they
were linked to Gyökeres, they didn't get him. What is
Sheshko, or just that type of build, right? Like just a poacher, a guy, a box presence. Cross it in, he'll get goals. If they got a guy like that, even like a Boniface, not that he would translate to the Prem per se, but just that type of striker, I'd be a lot more worried. It's Havertz or Jesus.
I think you have to sell people on projects. What striker looks at this team and goes, "Oh yeah, that's the project I want to be under"? Is the one where they go and they put their center backs in more advantageous positions to score than me.
Oh, it's Kai Havertz.
That's who you got.
He's the striker who relies on the center backs to score. That is a good one. I'm going to start using that. Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about that team.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Alrighty. The last segment. The Pooh Derby.
Poochester
Derby. Pooh Derby. The Poochester Derby. Manchester City plays Manchester United this weekend. It may be the most. I haven't remembered a derby, and for either team. Look, usually this is like a place where City fans are like,
at least excited.
"Hey, we're gonna kick ass," and United fans are like, "Please God, like let's just try to win this game. It might be some good here." And this game where I think neither fan is overly confident in anything. I
haven't heard anyone talk like any shit online.
All I've seen on my timeline is just both fans just upset that the game's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the one time
I saw a tweet. Hold on. It was like we should split the points and not even just Anthony
Just
goal,
accept the
Savio
draw.
goal, Anthony goal, Savio goal. Just let them go.
Oh,
And
Anthony.
then
It should just
split
be
the
agreement
points.
between the two clubs to just go out there, sit on their ass for
And let
90
your-
minutes,
let
and
your
then between the
failing
90th
guys-
and 92nd, it's Savio and Anthony that get goals.
Or just
Yeah.
Savio Anthony 1v1s for
No,
90.
but,
Ooh, yeah, that could be good.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
I have
Ruben
no
just
clue.
beat. I think the context that Ruben just beat Pep is gonna play a little into it, but like I'm not gonna be surprised if we lose that game. Is the big thing.
I
Yeah.
will know how City are going to take this game and how tactically they're going to look midweek. It sucks that we're doing this spot on a Monday.
No, I
But-
think we could talk about it though. I think we're gonna
No,
go
no, no, no,
strong
no.
in the
We
Champions
will
League.
talk about it. But like, I think that
Yeah.
if he plays a Doku and he plays him 90 minutes in this, like, I don't see him doing it in.
It's not gonna happen.
He didn't. Did
Hopefully
he?
he
He
plays
didn't start
winger.
this weekend, right?
You said Doku cannot play every 3 days, and we have a Champions League game against Juve that we have to win. We've
Yeah.
made
So
it-
so he's gonna play that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
sorry.
but yeah,
so
he's
he's not gonna
definitely
play
gonna
the
play that.
weekend. Sorry, that's
Grealish
we
is
were on the
probably-
same
yeah.
thing.
yeah,
Nunes
Grealish is
on the
probably
wing.
gonna play midweek too. So
Grealish
like,
has the 8th, though. Come on.
yeah, midweek though. He's also another player that Pep has
Right,
said
he's
cannot
crucial.
play every 3 games.
Ruben Diaz was great in the Palace game. I think he saved you guys from worse
He
in
looked
that
like
game. He's proven your
The
points.
best in
He's
the world,
making you look
honestly.
good there.
In that
Yeah,
game, he was
just
so good.
very
Even though we still held
presence.
to like
just his command of the defense. You know,
Mhm.
sweeping up crosses, everything you can ask for in a defender.
strong against Mateta
That's
blocks.
just
Like
that's what you want in a center back. Just
that
he
game,
gives you everything.
yeah, that game was what 6-7-2 if he's not there.
Yeah, because I watched that full 1 through 90. I watched that. Man,
Yeah.
Ruben
If he
Diaz
wasn't
saved
there,
them.
that would
He
have
rescued a
been
point for City.
embarrassing.
Craziest thing. Ruben Diaz
Mhm.
rescuing a point for them against Palace, but it's the state of the club, just where they're at. And squad, we've beat a dead horse with Y City or where they're at. Mila doesn't want to talk about it, as he shouldn't have to. Just regurgitate the same points, but
Yeah, it's the
I
same
think
thing.
United too. Obviously, we just don't know. Right? It's just such an unknown with United. Rammer rotating literally because of just fitness. Like you're seeing Euro come off and it's he got hooked. No, we didn't, bro. That'd be a good agenda to run with, but like it's a fitness thing. The team is in and out. He's trying to figure out who belongs in here and who doesn't, right? Because like we said, it's gonna be trials and tribulations. And I think, we're gonna have to find out some harsh truths about a lot of the players in the squad that I have my thoughts on. But again, I think this coach is gonna go in there and find out who's not good. So he's going to get in there. Their guys are going to get their chances, but it's just such an unknown for me in terms of thinking, what do I expect out of them? I have no clue. And to be honest, I expect a 0-0 because there's just so much unknown. It's a
not gonna-
derby, so it shouldn't be, but
I don't
will
think
not.
either
my
of
gut
these
is telling
two.
my gut's telling me 0-0. There's nothing to go off other than the gut, but I have no idea what's going to
There's-
happen.
I can't see it.
I
Um,
yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
I can't see it either.
For me, I guess where I'm seeing it is like I don't think there's much of a threat attacking wise from United, and
This-
then
I
with
mean,
City, it's Holland or bust, and we've talked about their struggles with being able to get those goals. So I can see a path to where there's just 0-0.
I
But
mean,
it's a derby.
United are scoring goals under Amorim. It's not like they aren't doing that. So I think that's more of like a Ten Hag thing. Like they're scoring goals. It's just not coming from beautiful play.
you guys just didn't score against.
I just think that
we just didn't score against Arsenal. We've scored
The
in other
goals,
games.
yeah.
One of the
I'm
best
just thinking
things,
of the players in those positions and what I've seen from them in those positions. Because I've tried to watch a lot of the United games, especially with Amorim coming in, to really get an idea of like, yeah, he wants to set up this way. Who's going to be good in these positions? I don't think the little game that kids play where it's the square into the square, the triangle and the triangle. I think he's putting the triangle into the square right now. It's just
Square
these
peg
guys
in a
do
round
not-
hole.
Yeah, fuck, could have. He's just said
No,
that
it's
to say-
just the
I
so
couldn't think of. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the United attackers. I don't think many of them naturally fit in that system. I
Mhm.
think a lot of them are probably going to be gone in the summer if United are in the right direction. But again, there's so much unknown with them. This is just me thinking I know ball. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to guess this shit, to be honest. Based off what I'm seeing, I don't think some of these guys are good enough. I don't think most of them are good enough. So Amorim's the one that's going to find out, but I really don't know.
maybe at some point we should do like a we should just list off the guys and
United.
say the kind of like the sell.
Yeah, we could do a
keep.
little side video on United to just kind of. I think we got to give it a little more time to kind of see Amarim put his team together. But
no, I think you can tell it right now. But I obviously, with more time, you could do it. I don't think we should do it in this episode, but I do have an overarching thought on United. Obviously Amarim. They just at this point of the season, like it's look for any form of success. I don't know what that is for him, and I don't know what that is for the club. They're just in a state where they keep trying to scrap everything and rebuild and do it over and over again. There's got to be building blocks, right? Like even in the front, in like overall management, like the Ashworth thing and just the state of the club is.
From what I've heard,
what I will say is it's weird. You don't spend the money that they spent. He makes a couple bad decisions. You sack him. It's just bad PR.
Do you want to see?
That's an upper management thing. In 5 months from now, we could be looking at it and being like, oh yeah, that's the wrong or right decision. But from a outlook thing, currently, United are doing things ass backwards. And Ineos, who was supposed to come in and change things, are still doing things ass backwards. That's a bigger concern for me. The things from like the club perspective, like raising ticket prices to an unknown level. The Christmas party, the sackings of look, if Ratcliffe could have gone in there and been like, nah, we're moving off. I think to put all the blame on the one single person is disingenuous because I don't think that he was the only person that made that decision.
I think to something I've said earlier, if we want to go back 2 years to when we had our takeover, the only real difference in terms of when it started, that ownership inherited Tuchel. This one decided to stick with Ten Hag. But other than that, we had Christopher Vivell, who I believe we got him from Red Bull. I forgot his exact role, but before, because Bowley was a sporting director for a bit, and Sterling, Koulibaly, Abami, you could tell he was the fucking sporting director. But we brought in this Vivell guy, and within 6 months he was gone. And I was like, wow, what the fuck is... So it's a new ownership trying to find its footing. I saw it.
They brought him in. That was their choice.
Oh, we brought that guy in too. We brought in Vivell.
No. I guess the issue in that might be a little different is he spent just as much time on leave as he has with the club.
Oh, I know. Yeah. He was on. I saw he was on vacation on Amarim's second day at Carrington.
It's just
Southgate, Howe, and Potter. Come on, man. Like that's apparently he just knew a guy. That's how he got the job. Is what I was hearing.
He was also awesome at Newcastle. I think it. The United are in a bad spot and they're looking for things from top to bottom. And Ineos doesn't have a great track record of this, but they got to build. Everyone's got to build. United are looking for things to build. And at the very least, they're looking for certain players to pick out of the squad to do it. Because to say that they're going to spend Chelsea level money this window, they're not smart enough to do that. They're not smart enough to do that. So they're going to have to, Amarim's going to have to make people work. He's going to have to figure out how to get, the square pegs to fit in round holes. There's certain players that can do this in the squad. But I think the bigger issue with the squad is they have an attention to detail issue that other teams don't. And I've been talking about the margins for the entirety of this podcast. Like the entirety of us doing the entire United stuff, Chelsea stuff. The margins in the Premier League are yay fine. And when you don't got your head screwed on, that's what happens. That's why Onana looked awful. That Martinez letting that goal in. The margins are that fine. When you're not clicked in all the way, that's United's biggest issue. Is they do that too many times throughout the course of 90 minutes.
Lissandro on that back post, and the replays are shocking. And I actually thought I've always kind of thought of him as a good defender. I've never really had a problem with him as a lot of people have. But yeah, that was bad. Onana, I've sang his praises forever.
He has one bad game.
He built up that reputation. People are finally giving him that respect he does deserve, and has an absolutely fucking terrible game. And I think he would tell you he had an awful game because he holds himself to a high standard, and I think he'll be fine. I think he's the least of United's problems if anyone's ever even thinking about going that route. But yeah, I think Amarim, I think I heard him say something along the lines of, to your point, we're talking about all this shit I'm trying to implement, like things that no coach should have to implement, these players lack. You know what I mean? To your point, the attention to detail. Just simple things that it goes beyond, here's our structure, here's how we want to play out the back. Like, just as a high-level player, you should have certain boxes checked. And a lot of these players don't have those boxes checked, to your point. he's walking in thinking, like, obviously he knew it was a tough situation, but he's looking at these players now on train, like, oh my God. Like, this is a different level of project that he has to really man up. But I do think from what we've seen, I like him, and I think that is a good guy to get behind. But yeah, Ineos, I think the questions need to be asked, to your point. I think if these were some American Cowboys, we'd be talking about them a lot more. Certain new owners a few years back got a lot of flack for hiring and firing. They spent like 15 mil to sack Ten Hag and then another 10 to get Amarim's guys in. Like, obviously, I think that's the right call, but the fact that you're in that position, they don't deserve credit for firing the wrong guy that they picked. So there's questions to be asked. The transfer window right after backing him to then fire him. Like, to your point, these are fair questions. And his track record, I think I might have mentioned it a while ago, but like, what's he done at Nice? What's he done with these F1 teams? You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have a positive track record. If anything, it's a negative. I would just look at it as whatever, as a wash. But like, that's definitely something to worry about. But I've also heard anything's better than the Glazers. So
No, it is.
I guess that's your opinion.
But also, like, to take on this project from top to bottom, like, it's gonna, like, everyone needs some grace. I just think that they're doing
questions need to be asked.
They're polarizing. Yeah, they're being too polarizing with a club with this much history. That's a bigger issue. So many
problems to tackle as well. I mean, literally top to bottom, like the stadium. Obviously, people joke about it, but like, you probably do need to get that updated. You know what I mean? Like, the women's team has just been absolutely thrown to the side, unlike a certain club. Yeah, it's a huge fucking mess to walk into.
To the stadium point, like, people are going to be really upset about that. We don't grow up in Manchester. I went there for one game. There is a special nature to it, regardless of if there's floods or not. And that's a part of the history of football, and that's the difference between U.S. sports and European sports. It's like that shit matters, and that shit matters to people in Manchester. So the way that they're going about it maybe would work in F1 because of the money that's spent and the clientele and the people involved. But when you're talking about blue collar workers, that their life is just football and work, I think that they're going to learn that they're going to have to change their perspective on this because they're a PR nightmare. We didn't even touch on the leak thing, which is unacceptable because there's no other club that has that.
Which one? The lineups getting leaked?
Lineups getting leaked. The Garnacho thing.
Garnacho, yeah, him liking tweets about Lissandro getting dunked on. Again, that's why I can never like him, is because of that type of shit. Whether or not it was an accident, bro, don't act like you accidentally.
There's no accidents.
He's already done it. Especially since you can't see likes on that app. Everything I like on there, I click the like button. Like, I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, let's be real. He's a 20-year-old kid. Of course he would like something. He's pissed off. I get it. But again, it's shit like that to where you need to get rid of your egos. I think a lot of them at that team, the egos just need to be stripped down. I think Amarim's probably a good guy for that. Where it's like, hey, bare bones, like, you guys need to work.
I'll know how important that is to the manager based off of if he plays the next 3 weeks. Because if I was the manager, I saw this. That shit matters. And to a team culture, that matters, and he shouldn't be playing. So we'll see if he gets dropped.
Yeah. You can get an attacker like Sancho in there. He's been really good.
Sancho would be awful in this team.
Yeah, United Sancho.
He'd be awful in this team, regardless of if he was Chelsea's Sancho. He'd be terrible.
Yeah, that team does stink.
He'd be terrible in this team.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, we've talked so much about City and United. We're just like in this weird period because we don't really know what to expect from them.
Nothing's changing with them though. Yeah, it's just been the same for like a month and a half.
This is going to be the whole season with United. It's just can we pick on certain highlights, right? Like Ahmad is a highlight. Yoro will be a highlight in this team, right? Like Mazraoui will be a highlight in this team. It's the other guys that we're going to figure. I think Ugarte has been actually really good too.
Yes. And
he definitely fits the system the best. So
he knows the system well. But yeah, you guys gotta wait till summer.
But I feel like we keep saying that.
The pass he played through to Garnacho, I'll be real. I didn't think he had that type of pass in him. A quick little line breaker. He's been better than I thought he would be. Credit to him. But
to look good in this United team is a
semblance of good. You know what I mean? Like, I think Yoro, he got dunked on by Wood. People are talking about all that.
Yeah,
Welcome to the league. He's 19 years old.
It's exactly it. That was my thought. It was okay.
Yeah. That's Chris Wood for it. Welcome to the big leagues.
He also looks composed.
Chris Wood also.
He dunks on everyone. It also should have never been a goal.
Always going to score against United.
Yeah, Mr. Martinez needs to get that off the line. Yoro's fine. No one's
Yeah, he's fine. Also, I've been so impressed. Like, I know he wasn't great, but I'm so impressed by his composure for a 19-year-old at center back. Like, he just kind of goes about and does his business. Like, super composed on the ball. The type of signing that United will continue to need to make if they want to be good is Eleni
exciting players.
Is Eleni Euro. Yeah,
it's a good route. Just get a bunch of young players, and one of them will hit.
Okay, if they were to do the Chelsea thing, I'm not sold on that entirely because at United it wouldn't work.
No, United's different. It's
a different
United. Amarim said it right when he came in. Yeah, Arteta's been here 5 years. He can do that. We can't do that here.
Nope, you got to win. Success is.
But he's not wrong. United, the microscope is beyond anything else.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The badge weighs more than a lot of other badges. It really does. So
that's what comes with being they're the biggest team in England. They've been that way for a long time, regardless of if they're good or bad. It's just kind of what comes with the territory. Combined 11. Wow. In United's worst period, we can finally put players in the combined 11.
Can we still get away with Onana in there? Or because of
we can have a conversation. Let's do formation first, and then we can have conversations. 3-back?
No.
Yeah.
3-back.
Both teams play a 3-back technically.
Yeah, we could because on both of our we could
3-2. Do we do the city configuration of things?
3-1-6.
See, now it's
3. Sorry, maybe 3-2.
3-2-4-1.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it. 3 midfielders.
Okay.
3 wider players. 2 wide players, 1 striker, and then 3 center backs ish, and a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are there any fullbacks you can think of that need to get into the team?
Mazraoui.
I was trying to make fun of Kyle Walker, honestly. Shit. I didn't word that well. That's on me.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay.
We made the formation thing too confusing, man. Because they like to
you just can't keep up.
No, I can fucking keep up, mate. All right, let's go. Goalie. I want Onana.
I know he had a terrible game. I still want Onana as well.
I don't care.
Yeah.
He'd start for City. I think Pep said that before.
Onana's fucking sick, dude. Onana's been sick.
He just had a bad game.
In the Champions
He would
League
start for City until he loses his job to Ortega.
Yeah, right. That's what apparently that's what happens.
Onana.
Yeah. Okay, so Onana's our goalie. Wow. Yeah.
And Ruben Diaz has to be in this back line.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's in the middle.
Ruben Diaz is the central. I want Mazraoui on the right.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Wait. Who are you thinking?
right center back.
Oh, okay, I guess.
That's where he's been. That's where he's been.
Gavardio. Just go Gavardio then.
Just this season form. Yeah.
Sure, this season's form. Okay, because you could argue like a Kanji, but again, this year I don't think it's. Yeah,
I think right center back, even under Amarim, he's been really good. I think Mazraoui has to be in.
Mazraoui's been good in multiple.
That's just the best place to put him.
I thought Mazraoui's like a good squad piece, whatever. He's been very important for them, and he's been good. He's been very sound, does his job. Yeah, he gets at the team. Because
I don't know where else to put him, I want to put Gavardio left center back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay. Yeah, and he has to be in there because he's been class for majority of the season.
Yeah, he's dipping form right now, but again, the whole team's dipped in form. So how much of that can you put on him?
After a game break, he looked okay.
Yeah, he did look okay.
Yeah.
He looked good. It was fine. It wasn't really.
How about he had a few high-profile errors that led to a different perception of his performances? Is that what you
against Palace?
No. Earlier, before Palace.
Right when you guys were going through
when
that
he
bad,
played 9 games straight.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. After he got a rest, he was fine.
Yeah. Cool.
I feel like with him, it's just fatigue. When he makes those mistakes, it's fatigue. He's
mental and physical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So back three sorted.
Yeah. The midfield.
So it's a double pivot. Oh God, I don't want anyone.
I think it's Kova's hurt, so we can't put him in.
Put any of their deep midfielders.
People that are kind of playing the game.
You could put Rico Lewis, maybe.
I think Ugarte deserves a shout since being under Amarim.
Suspended.
So maybe Ugarte.
Oh,
Rico is suspended.
Rico's for the red.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
-2 midfielders for this weekend.
Yeah, it's got to be Ugarte and Mainu. Then you guys have no one. I mean, Gundogan's not getting
KDB,
there for
what are
me
you
on
talking
form.
what?
Ugarte
You're
and
gonna
Grealish.
No, KDB's.
Oh, you're gonna play him as a winger?
No. I thought we're doing a double pivot, and then you have double
Oh.
eights, 2 wingers.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
would have had
understand.
KDB, Grealish, and then Ugarte Mainu.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
smooth move.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, City wouldn't be in as many issues if they had those two.
But wait, the wings. Oh, this is just. Oh, Ahmad's on the right.
Ahmed's on the right.
Doku on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Who
your
you put
striker is
up?
Holland.
There we go. Yeah. Boom.
Actually, you know what?
Easy.
I look, man. I think
Rashford in that role.
I think Rashford could compete there. Did Holland score this weekend?
Yes.
He did, right?
Yes.
Did he only score one
Yeah.
goal?
Yes.
All right. Well, Hoyland also scored one goal. So off form, I guess we really should have a conversation about these
That
two.
corny fucking celebration off of a tap in.
You guys
God.
hate the celebration. It's hard.
Oh, no,
It's
it's
hard.
a
I
good
didn't say
celebration.
anything
Yes.
It's hard.
I said everything. It's all me. All
Grant
me.
hates the
It's
Because you
hard.
can't score a tap in like that to equalize at home against Forest, and then and they lost. You know, it's just a bad look.
So
Like,
if
you have to...
so question:
yes, I will answer this correctly.
if Cole Palmer was to score in an equalizer at home against Forest on a penalty, and then do the cold celebration, is it the same?
It is not the same because he's established himself as one of the best players in the league with that signature celebration.
Okay, so
I don't
we're
think
moving goalposts.
no, I literally.
Because if it's
answered-
a celebration, then what does it matter?
Oh, it's a signature of everyone's doing this. Everyone's doing it, fam. Yes, it's different. It is a different one. There's context to a celebration. Like, imagine if Jackson scored some dumbass tap in. No, he's funny with it, though. Maybe I'm biased.
I think you're moving the goalposts, is what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
biased. Goalposts aren't being moved because Palmer's celebration is different. That shit is literally, like, everyone's running that. He's got juice like that. He's one of the best players in the league. I do think that's a different.
If Manu
If
had
it's
scored
literally-
and done the salute, would it be any different?
Yeah, no, that's cool though. It's salute, like, oh yeah, salute. It's a call. The fact that hey, no, it's like it's so intense. It's like yeah, it's like oh, it's happening.
He's just happy. He's enjoying his football. I don't see a big
Enjoy
issue.
it.
with
I
it at
think
all.
that he's found a
Maybe it's a
celebration that he
reach.
likes,
Maybe
and
it's a
he's if he
I
keeps
just
doing
thought it
it,
was
then
crazy.
there's no issue for me.
No, yeah, for sure. I just thought it was a crazy one to do, where it's like, wait, that wasn't a crazy goal, and it's like, go grab the ball and get back to halfway line. Like when Sancho scored that thump against Tottenham, back to halfway
You were
line.
down 2 goals.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah, you actually had to go pick up the ball and get going again because you're still
Get
down.
back.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, you had no choice there, so that's different. I don't know,
The-
man. I just thought it was crazy. I'm just speaking my truth.
He
You guys
scored.
are both all-
He scored
guys are
against
refuting
that
it.
other team, and
Well, yeah,
I think
just
if it's a
thought-
celebration, I don't give a fuck. Also, the whole point of the celebration is to rile up the crowd. It's not like, look,
I just looked
I went and had the whole conversation about how he's been disappointing, but he keeps scoring. I don't really care.
yeah,
Do whatever the hell he
at
wants
least
to me.
I didn't get the assist, making me look better. Because if he got the assist, I would have been upset.
No, he can't keep playing. But the other
We
issue
wanna
is like
do-
United don't have anything else, so
Do we want to do predicted
He's
lineups real
terrible.
quick for either team?
I got no clue.
how we think that they're gonna line up.
I think I can probably
you
tell
guys-
you how City's
Yeah,
gonna line
you
up.
do sit actually. So to round out that entire team, it's
Oh,
Onana,
yeah.
Mazarari, Diaz, Gavardio.
Diaz.
Sorry, went through the other
Yeah.
ways there. Mainu, Ugarte. In front of them is Grealish and KDB. Wingers are Ahmad and Doku, and then your striker is Holland.
That team fucked.
Manchester should just become purple.
No,
no,
never.
I really can't.
Yeah, but for the predicted lineup, since we only have like 12 players right now, we had 13, and then Phil Foden got bronchitis.
Bro, he's had that for a bit now. No?
That
For
sucks.
1 week.
Yeah, that's gotta suck, dude. Fucking
Bronchitis is terrible.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Ortega most likely. I don't see him going back to Ederson. Not with the defense we're about to put out. No sir. It's gonna have to be Kyle Walker. It's gonna be Simpson Pussy, Diaz, Gavardio.
Gundo, Grealish, KD.
Yeah, No, Grealish. I think Grealish is gonna play the whole 90 during the Juve
midweek.
game, honestly.
Right.
So I think it's gonna be
Gundo, Silva, Katie. Now KDB's not playing.
it's gonna have to be. No, KDB will probably get yanked early during the Juve and play in the United
I
game.
just hope he stays fit.
Yeah. So KDB, Gundo. Yeah, predicted lineup. It's gonna have to be Bernardo, but I would like it to be. Can we even do that though?
What about out wide?
Yeah, that's my point. We only.
You're just thinking. For context,
I don't
Mila's
even
thinking
think
about
Doku's
midweek.
gonna start too.
He's thinking
so,
about
like,
midweek.
Yeah, but like, so if Doku starts in the Wednesday, like, who plays
Noon.
beside Holland? Savio.
Savio.
It's just Savio.
Gotta
We'll play
even
man
shit
down
Savio.
before Pep puts in one of the young guys.
Tough. And then Hollar's up
It'll
top.
probably be like it'd have to be like an O'Reilly or a Jacob Wright in the midfield, and then put Bernardo on the wing. Which Bernardo at the right wing in that Nottingham game was really good. So I'm fine with it. But yeah, that's the lineup. It makes
Clearly
itself.
exhilarated. Dylan, you guys rotate a lot, so
you guys have that definitely. There's more discussion.
They'll go for their best lineup.
Yeah,
I think that this is a much more important game for United than it is for City in terms of if you beat a rival, you can maybe get something going. And I think that's what Amarim's got to be trying to instill in them is like, look, we've played bad. You guys still have you guys got Champions League to deal with, and
you guys have a European competition.
I think that for United, this is such a mental game, and you know you're going to get the best out of the guys just from a mental space because people always show up for derbies. Even when they're playing at their worst, they at least show up and try to give a fuck. I think that the back line is going to stay relatively the same. I think it's obviously Onana and net. He's not making any changes there. No, he had a bad game. He's not making changes. I think that he goes De Ligt, Maguire, and Mazarari. Or no, I'm sorry. He goes Mazarari, De Ligt, and Martinez. I think that he rotates out Euro because
he doesn't start Euro.
Because I think that in this type of game, you don't need to put him in, and you got to rotate him. And I think that he probably plays midweek type of thing.
Get him another 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think this is a game where you don't need to expose him to something like that. And I think that dealing with Doku if he is to play, is a much bigger issue for United, and Mazarari is probably better suited to try and do.
And then you throw De Ligt on the left side?
No, he's in the middle. And Martinez is on the left.
Oh, I forgot. I thought you said Maguire. I'm sure.
I did it first, but then I realized that Mazarari is going to play.
Yeah, you'll need a goal. You throw him on for a corner.
That seems right. Your right wing back, because he hasn't changed this, is probably Ahmad. I'd really, 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 really like to see him in one of the 10s this game. I think that's the natural fit.
Who do you put there instead then?
Dallo.
Just be Dallo?
Yeah, you got to go to and then. So if you have Dallo at one wing back, who's the other wing back?
Malacia.
It would have to be Malacia.
And I think you five back it.
Can he play United 90 minutes? I like that thought. I think you're right.
Maybe not.
That's my only thought.
Maybe
and then
not.
you have to move Mazraoui out there.
But then you just move.
Maybe
you
bring
move
Maguire
down. You bring in a Maguire and you move maybe.
You got options. Options if you
I think that you have to set this up tactically the same way that they did against Arsenal in the first half.
I agree.
Because Malacia looked pretty good in the first half against Arsenal. He hasn't played.
18 months. Yeah, no. So I think you're right to where probably two natural defenders in the wing back spots for this game.
I think that United's main advantage here is potentially that they can be more athletic in the midfield than City. And I think Ugarte, and it's either going to be, weird as it sounds, I think it's going to be either Casemiro or Manu, but I want to see Manu play. And I think that they just need to build that partnership in the Premier League and just go for it. That's so crazy. Yeah, so I'll stick with the midfield too. Or the wing backs are going to be Ahmad and Dallo, because I think that's just what he's going to do. But if I wanted to, I'd move Ahmad up. Midfield two of Manu and Ugarte. The 10s. Bruno, he has to be in there. He made a mistake this weekend too. 100%. The attention to detail. He'll be in there. He'll play. And he scored a goal.
Fuck it. Bruno, Xerxes, Hoyland.
That's all.
I
Run it.
really, really, really dislike it, if I'm being honest with you. But I think
Just
that it
run
might
it.
happen.
It's pretty
Just
good.
overwhelm our defense. I
Xerxes
would
doesn't
run
use
with
his
that.
he doesn't use his
No,
body.
no.
He doesn't
I know,
use his
but
body enough for me to be like, oh yeah, like he's gonna do it. Hoyland
Let him
starts up
under the
top.
10 to run out. Yeah. No, that's what I think.
No, but like I personally don't think the Xerxes deserves to start this game.
Oh, Rashford then?
I don't
Rashford.
know. But he
Rashford
hasn't
doesn't make
deserved
sense.
is
to.
it?
Rashford doesn't make sense in terms of current form, like his last performance tactically. He kind of always shows up against City, so I feel like you want him in there, right? But like on form, he doesn't deserve to start. But fuck, it'd be kind of. It feels like you're missing something if he's not in there.
Rashford, none of the front 5 or 6 guys deserve to be starting games. So it's kind of like just fucking pick one and let him shoot. I think that Garnacho needs to be dropped. I don't think that you can do what he's done performance-wise and then off the field and deserve to be anywhere near the starting 11. I don't think you should deserve to come on as a sub too. There's got to be precedent and there's got to be standards. So like he's not even remotely close. So then the conversation comes down
He'll
to
probably start.
yeah, which would be fucking awful. I'd be more angry even if we won that he starts because I think that you got to
There's a
set
principle.
standards.
I like that.
I think then the conversation becomes: is it Xerxes? Is it Rashford? Or is it Mount?
Forgot about him again.
This is why Ahmed going into one of those 10 spaces makes
It
more
helps a
sense.
lot,
There's a more natural fit to the way things can be placed. So I'm hoping that eventually, I think that's the evolution. I don't think Ahmed's a right wing back. He's
Out of
been
all the
great there.
attackers, he does that job the best. Yeah,
Or
would do this to me in my head.
for the sake of the clip, I think that he goes Mount.
I mean,
I think that he goes Mount.
I think if you were to push Diallo up, it would probably be more of a Euro plays in the game type of thing. And Mazraoui just shifts up to that left back.
Yeah, 2 wing backs.
You know what? That's something. You keep Dalot on the left hand side. You just move Razorari into the right wing back. Yeah,
Mazraoui can absolutely play that
And have
position.
like Lenny have a little run.
yeah. I mean, you could do it. Look, the United just
It
need to
might
try
be
stuff.
that. He
It
actually
might be that.
do that.
Look, it's
Euro-
just
If I were him, I'd try all this stuff throughout the year.
Euro or Mazraoui on whoever the faster wingback is. Maybe on both of them, honestly. But like, I could definitely see it.
in the conversation of the trust circle for United. Like the guys that we named are the guys that probably should stay, right? Your Euros. Like Martinez was bad, but like you assume that he'll pick back up form. Martinez, Delict, Onana.
Martinez.
They're a bad team, bad defender.
Yeah,
bad
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
That's
easy.
part of it.
I agree.
When United are at their best, he's one of their players, and I think that he works in the system.
I'm starting to see the holes in his game a little more, I guess, and obviously to your point, being in a bad defense kind of shows those, exposes your weaknesses. But I have a few more questions for him, Delict, but again, it is as easy and as fun it is to just jump on the train, United or shit. Like, it is super hard to judge a player in a team this chaotic with so much going on. As someone who's seen a team that chaotic with so much bad shit going on, you do have to unfortunately step back and give it some. Which sucks because I want to get on these motherfuckers, but I want to call all them shit. But
no, because they're playing like shit. They're not. Can't not give them scrutiny because they deserve it. They absolutely deserve it because they're all of these guys came in for price tags that are clearly overvalued right now, or could be for the rest of their careers. You got to perform at some point, regardless of who the manager is, and it's disappointing. But I guess that's who I hope that the guys that we're talking about are in my starting 11. But if I was to just had to throw it out, I think he goes with something similar to Arsenal, just with Bruno more advanced.
Yeah. There's
instead of with Manu coming in because Manu didn't play.
Yeah.
Was that a fitness thing for him too? Just come back from injury?
No, he was banned. He was on a.
He was banned for him and Martinez were banned for the Arsenal game. Yeah. You want to do a scoreline prediction to end it, and then we can wrap up this episode.
Yeah, 0-0 for me. I'll stick with it. Just because if I get it right, that'd be hilarious. So wrong. Well, I know that's why I'm sticking with it. I have
none of these teams can keep clean sheets.
I'm gonna go 3-2. They haven't drawn in 11 games.
Who's winning?
I'm not picking a winner. I don't know. Yeah, just telling you it will be 3-2.
I like that.
You took my scoreline. Yeah.
Well,
what it has
I've
to
heard you
be.
say last episode you'll never pick.
No,
your
because
team.
I'm not. No, it's 3-2 United. No, I will not pick against United.
I thought you were
but-
trying to build suspense. I'm like, there's no suspense. I know what's coming. Oh, so 3-2 United for you.
3-2 United.
I'll go 0-0 with a penalty to Real Madrid.
It's where is the game? Do you know where it is?
Oh my God!
It couldn't be asked,
fucking
bro.
no. I
Couldn't be
cannot
asked with this
believe
derby.
neither of you. That's tough.
I think
We're
it's
not
I think it's
checking.
at the Etihad.
At the
if I'm being
Etihad?
honest. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Because
it
we've been at home.
is, yeah.
Yeah, I know ball. yeah. 3-2 United. Holland scores 2. Martinez scores 3.
Who is giving the ball to Holland? Oh, KDB's on the pitch.
Yeah.
3-2 City.
And then are you guys gonna stick around to watch Chelsea Brentford at 11 after that?
If I'm alive, yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good game to be fair. Brentford's kind of tough, but it's at home. Thank God. Brentford are tough at the G-Tech.
They like to score. It's goals fest in every game they play.
Sorry.
Have you seen
Tottenham
us
plays
defend, brother?
Southampton at 11.
Yeah, I have to
I'd
watch that,
much rather
yeah.
watch that. I'd much rather watch that. Oh man. All right, yeah, 0-0. Fuck it.
All right. So me and Mila both got 3-2 in the opposite directions, and then you've got 0-0.
No, Mila didn't specify.
No, I did.
No,
Once
he
I
did after
remembered
he
that
said
we have
KDB.
back.
Yeah.
Oh, right. All right.
Kevin the back.
Well, next time we talk, it'll be after the Manchester Derby, and
I think
after.
either
have
one, at
things
least
to
one of
talk
you is going to be
about on
upset.
Friday.
Honestly, probably both.
Well, yeah.
There's
It's
a higher
if the
chance.
0-0 happens, we're definitely going to be both upset.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
content.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Clash of Clubs, episode 18. Another long one. We keep doing long ones, but that's just who we are. We'll see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing. That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.